Supercuts. Who supports local teams? Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Hey guys, enjoy your show. Out of all the sports programs in the state, I really enjoy y'all the most.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Well, it's officially the start of one of the best weeks of the entire calendar year. 52 weeks during a year, and this would be the only one of the only ones at least, that you're not expected to really be paying attention to anything going around you except for some grocery shopping, some travel plans, making sure you're traveling safe wherever it is you're going, or that your guests, if you are so lucky to be hosting Thanksgiving in a few days, that everybody makes it safely to your house or your apartment or wherever it is you live. Make sure you got plenty of blankets, plenty of pillows, plenty of turkey, I guess. Make sure that turkey is purchased. And forget about whatever it is you do professionally, I guess. That's kind of what goes on at ESPN Arkansas near the end of the week. I feel so darn lucky. Only going to be working 2 days this week as far as our radio show here is concerned. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson in the ESPN Arkansas studios, halftime on a Monday. Ty, it's a great week. I love this week. For one, I love Thanksgiving. And I've had Thanksgiving in a lot of places, especially covering basketball the last, what has it been, 14 years? Because what do basketball teams do over Thanksgiving normally? I know Arkansas basketball, men's basketball isn't doing it this year, but if you are involved in college basketball, what are you expecting to be doing during the Thanksgiving holiday?
Well, it's feast week, baby. This is one of the better college basketball weeks of the years outside of the NCAA tournament. This is an incredible slate of games. We have NFL football stuff. We have great rivalry games across the board in college basketball. If you are a die-hard sports fan, this is the week for you when it comes to watching Sportsville.
It's like the only week that there's literally nothing going on in baseball, but tons going on in all of the other sports. And that, you know what else happens this week? The college football season mercifully comes to a close for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And mercifully is the right way to put it. But at least, wouldn't this be the right year to not have LSU on the schedule for the last game of the season? Yeah. Or would you just want to forget about that whole battle of the boot thing? By the way, it looked like LSU forgot about the boot, or at least didn't really care about raising the largest single-game trophy, I think, in college football. Maybe Paul Bunyan's axe is a little bit larger than that, and Minnesota and Wisconsin will battle for that later on this week, along with Big Ten West Division supremacy. That's a big one. The battle line rivalry, I guess we should be excited about it on Friday, Ty, because this is the last best chance for Arkansas to finally end a number of losing streaks. What is it now? 18 straight games in the SEC. It's 9 straight games this season. You've lost, how many games in a row has it been to Missouri now? Has it been 4 in a row? And Missouri's playing like hot garbage right now, losing their 5th consecutive game, this time at home, so it hadn't mattered whether it's been home or road. Tennessee goes in there and beats the Tigers, so last best chance. And, do we have to talk about this game against LSU, 56-20, in which the biggest bright spot was being down a point early in the second quarter, and then you're left with the bright spot of Jack Lindsey leading a couple of touchdown drives in garbage time in the fourth quarter, a point where LSU, I don't know if they necessarily cared very much if they stopped Arkansas's offense or not, because they stopped them over and over and over again for the first 3 quarters. And Arkansas, while they were able to stop LSU a couple of times in the first, couldn't do it in the middle 2 quarters. And by the time Jack Lindsey got involved in it, it was the game had been game, set, match for a good long time. 612 total yards for LSU. Hey, look, I know this is the best offensive team in the country. Probably even better than Ohio State when you look at some of the defenses that LSU has gone up against. But Arkansas's defense, no doubt about it, Ty, they are statistically one of the worst in the country, if not the worst defense amongst all Power 5. And whether or not LSU's got a lot of NFL caliber talent on that roster, and I know they do, when you're giving up almost 13 yards per play, I mean, think about that. You're giving up more than a first down on average for every single play. It was ugly. And the thing that really, when you look at the box score, it's amazing. Arkansas had the football for almost 40 and a half minutes. So LSU, I got to laugh thinking about this. LSU scores 56 points, and they held the football for 19 minutes and 31 seconds. I guess you would describe that as a quick strike offense, right, Ty?
Drew and Harrison text in Phil on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He says, to your comment earlier, if Mizzou is hot garbage, then Arkansas is smoldering.
Well, I mean, it's been a dumpster fire for a while now, so that's not hot garbage. That's burning garbage.
So I think what you take away from this game, when people look back at the success in Arkansas football, automatically people just point to the offense, whether it's in 2010, 2011, 2006, and some of the other elite programs in Arkansas's history. But Phil, typically when Arkansas football has been good and competitive, not only the SEC but the Southwest Conference, they had a salty defense as well as on the other side of the football. And Wavy Chavis is making $1.5 million to basically be a lame duck in this situation because we all know he's out the door after this.
Hold on a minute now. Wavy Chavis, when did this nickname get thrown in there?
I like
this one.
That's a Bill thing. Third and Chavis, Wavy Chavis. I'm just picking up what Bill King taught me when I was working at Nashville. But
there was an old hippie, I think he's still alive, that was known as Wavy Gravy. I don't know if maybe Bill was trying to mix that into John Chavis.
Who knows, man?
Tell you one thing, Chavis isn't. He's no hippie.
Yeah. So the defense has just been awful since he got here, and it wasn't. They had a really good year under Rob Smith in 2014, and then they were kind of sporadic under his tutelage in those years under Bielema, but 24's defense was salty, and then you look at 2010, 2011 with some of the guys they had there, 2006, a little bit of 02, you can go to some of the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, and on. You have to have a defense that's worth something in this league. Now, sometimes you can get away with it. Every once in a while, there'll be an Auburn 2010 where you have such an elusive quarterback in Cam Newton that you can just have an okay defense. Nick Fairley was a stud, but Auburn was just okay in terms of defense in 2010. It wasn't just unbelievable, Phil. So my question now is, everyone keeps talking about this head coach. You got to get the head coach. And you know what? Everyone's right. You have to nail this next hire. Hunter Yurchek knows you have to get the next right guy in here. But you also have to get some assistants in here that are worth something. They can't be yes men. They can't be just up-and-comers. And if they are up-and-comers, they better be up-and-coming, and they better rock it. They better just get hot when they get to Arkansas. You have to hire a quality staff in this conference because you're already behind the 8 ball in so many areas, and you can't really afford to get behind the 8 ball in much else, Phil.
Well, and maybe and look, hey, most of the coaches that we've been kicking around, as far as potential head coach candidates at Arkansas, have offensive backgrounds. Lane Kiffin, Mike Leach, Sam Pittman, Mike Norvell, Gus Malzahn. I mean, these are all offensive-minded offensive-minded coaches who came from the offensive side of the ball, and that's why the reports that have come out that Luke Fickell, the Cincinnati head coach, is a real candidate potentially for Arkansas. This is a guy that built his career on the defensive line and linebackers and was the defensive coordinator for Ohio State the last national championship season. And this is a name that now, I mean, look, Cincinnati's had back-to-back 10-win seasons, got a chance to win the AAC crown this year. I know it's a group of 5 school, but this is a defensive-minded coach who has won big time the last 2 years, built that program back up. And when you make your money on defense, That's nothing that anybody's talking about right now. It's all about make sure you make the right hire at defensive coordinator. What if your head coach is a defensive guy like Fickle is?
And I think the perfect example is the coach that you just played in Death Valley on Saturday night, in Ed Orgeron. Look at what he did. Now, it's taken him a little longer with the offense. We've known he's a defensive guy, a recruiting specialist, but he's hired probably a top 3, top 2, but maybe Venables and Dave Aranda. They're on the same level. You can go back and forth who's the better DC. And then now Insmiger, it didn't look like it. And they had, I can't remember the OC they had before that, but they bring in Joe Brady from the New Orleans Saints, Phil, and I know we're coming up on our break, but he's been able to hire great assistants, both sides of the football, 2 really good coordinators, and look what's happening with LSU. They're one game away from going 12-0 this regular season.
We want your conversation or calls and texts up to 2 o'clock. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline, and halftime returns right after this break.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio. This is the Morning Rush.
I get sick and tired of hearing all these national media members think that Arkansas was wrong for firing Chad Morris. Do they watch this season at all? Do they watch any games this year? Arkansas lost to San Jose State at home. They lost to Western Kentucky, got blown out by them at home. I don't know what team they've been watching this season, but to me it is completely and totally justifiable for firing Chad Morris.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open. Located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue, next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Our Black Friday event continues this week at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Hi, this is David Neal inviting you to save over 25% on a new 2019 Silverado Z71. That's up to $13,000 in savings and save up to $6,000 on new Chevy Blazers. And I'd like to personally invite you to come in this Friday for free food and soft drinks to let us say thank you for your business. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, exit 2A off I-540. Find new roads.
See dealer for details.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Into the front court, they hand it off to Joe. Nice pick and roll. Bailey with a one-hand throwdown. How about that? The assist, the throwdown, and the Hogs are up by 5.
It is the Monday of Thanksgiving, and the year-end clearance sale continues at Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. It's a pretty stressful week leading into a stressful month of shopping. But Breeden can take that stress away with a new or used RV. Plus, you can pick your deal. You get your choice of either sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. You choose the deal that works best for you. Breeden goes along with it. And, of course, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life. That's Breeden RV and Power Sports on Alma Highway in Van Buren, also at BreedenRVs.com. You heard our comeback, Chuck Barrett on the call with Arkansas knocking down South Dakota 77-56. Arkansas 5-0 heading into a pretty tough road matchup against Georgia Tech. Later on today, 6 o'clock, we'll have the broadcast beginning at 5:30 with the Learfield IMG pregame show. Chuck and Z back on the call, and we'll preview that game later on. Should be a really good game because you get two pretty solid defensive teams facing off against each other. Phil Elson here with Ty Richardson. Your calls and texts up till 2 o'clock. We do have Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South joining us in the middle of the second hour to get a look from above around the SEC. And, of course, big games this week. LSU, Texas A&M. You got Alabama and Auburn. Big one right there. So should be plenty to talk about with Connor O'Gara. But let's get to some of these texts coming in here. B from Clarksville is fired up because you guys covered. And that was something
yes, sir.
You said you were going to die on that hill from the start of the week last week, Ty. You didn't even need those extra 4 points, though. I'll tell you, I know for a fact you were sweating bullets in the last 6 minutes
Never
or so.
doubted him.
Yeah, I can see the look on your face.
Never doubted him for a minute. I was sitting at Joe's Grill with John, Tommy, Matty T, Scott Blair, and never doubted him for a minute at all. Was completely satisfied with the performance in terms of them covering. So I was very happy.
Jason in Frankfort, Kentucky asked, why did Jack Lindsay never transfer to play somewhere else? He says he just shows his love for the Razorbacks. So, I mean, that's I guess it would be awfully difficult for a legacy with a last name like that to transfer out of Arkansas. You know, and I know John Stephen Jones didn't play this last week, but would you ever see John Stephen Jones transferring out of Arkansas? I don't know if Grandpapa would allow that. We feel the same way about Jack Lindsay. I just don't. I know he's a walk-on and everything, but you know, if you have one of those last names, do you transfer away? You know, it would be like a Broyles transferring out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
So we got some quarterback dilemma for Friday, Phil. Yeah.
You got a quarterback controversy, which is the perfect way to end the second year of quarterback controversies at the University of Arkansas. Though if you thought last year was a wild year for quarterback play at Arkansas, this year has been just ridiculous. You've now had 4 different quarterbacks start a game. KJ Jefferson missed a good chunk of the second half because he went into concussion protocol.
Correct.
So you're on a short week. If he has to stay in concussion protocol for a few days, he won't be available to play on Friday. So at that point, is there even a chance that you get a 5th different starting quarterback? Would Jack Lindsay get the look? I mean, Ben Hicks obviously is not on the radar because he didn't get on the field against LSU. Nick Starkel, we had a Nick Starkel appearance. And honestly, by this time, I thought Starkel would have cemented himself as the Razorback quarterback, not just for this year but last year. But instead of cementing himself, he was stuck in cement. And then, I mean, who am I missing here? I think we've hit on everybody.
I think so.
Jones didn't get in last week. Could you think about that? potentially 2-10 team having 5 different starting quarterbacks, and only one of those quarterbacks would have made a start because somebody else was hurt.
Barry Lenny Jr. today in the press conference said, we're still evaluating both Nick Starkel and KJ Jefferson in their concussion protocol. Said that he should know more tomorrow. He also said that Jack Lindsey knows the offense inside and out. And I think it was Mike Irwin that put this out on social media, the fact that they had to tell Jack Lindsey to stop talking in quarterback meetings because he knew so much the ins and outs of the offense. Now, again, that doesn't mean you're the most talented. This is a walk-on. This is a guy that wasn't highly recruited, wasn't heralded offensively when it comes to some of the other quarterbacks on that roster, but sometimes smarts do that. I don't know if he should start on Friday against Missouri. I'm sure we've got a lot of different takes on that, but here's what Barry Lenny Jr. said after the game concerning Jack Lindsey's performance.
He's just really steady, just kind of keeps his mouth shut and just learns the offense, and he's a great teammate. Razorbacks are obviously very important to him. Obviously a wonderful Razorback legacy and heritage in his family. It was awesome to see him come out there and execute. We knew going into the game he'd gotten some reps this past week during the open date, a lot of reps. I was fully prepared, and Joe and I were fully prepared to play him in this football game in any circumstance. And so I was not surprised, A, to see him in the game, and B, I was not surprised to see him just kind of stay within the offense and execute. And he did a nice job, and the fellas did a good job around him.
I was thrilled to see him in there because he got me that backdoor cover, Phil, because they were not.
He's your hero now. Yeah. He's your guy.
It's my guy. So
can I just say I'm really tired of hearing about quarterbacks knowing the offense? Who cares now? That was why Ben Hicks started. The offense has not meant the knowledge of the offense doesn't mean what everybody seems to think it means. It means that you're the last guy left on the roster, and they didn't have anybody else to put in there. And Jack Lindsey knowing the offense doesn't mean really much for next year, I don't think. I think it means more than anything that he's got a decent football mind and maybe has a future as a head coach in the offing. But as far as knowing the offense, can we stop that? That's so Chad Morris. That was so 3 weeks ago, and isn't anything that anybody really wants to hear right now. I can understand being excited about a Lindsey making some plays for Arkansas, but it came at the end of another ass-kicking in which it didn't even look like there were 2 SEC teams on the field at the same time. But don't ask Barry Lunny that because he thought there were 2 SEC teams that were on the same field.
Looked like football to me. Looked like an SEC football game. I don't know how that looked to y'all, but to me on the sideline, it looked like 2 SEC teams playing against each other. No moral victory. I mean, we've not gotten to the point where we're in for moral victories. Okay, we came to win the football game. We came to play our best football game of the year. For a half, we might have done that. To just collectively, all 3 units together, we might have done that for maybe 25 minutes of the first half.
What?
I have no idea how to respond to that.
Did we watch the same game?
The only way that you thought you had 2 SEC teams on the same field is that both were wearing SEC patches. That's it.
Listen, I know you're trying to pull positives. I know as a coach you have to do that in this situation, but that could not be further from the truth, Phil. You and I are in simultaneous agreement on this. That was not 2 SEC teams on the field. One team got mauled. One team looks like they're a national championship team. It was not even remotely close what you saw. You saw Jack Lindsey come in and make it a little more respectable at the end of the game. I know they did have some first stringers, but not every single one of their starters were on the field at the time. I don't get that thing. And I'm not here to pile on Barry Lunny Jr. He's in the most difficult situation that there is in this coaching profession. But my goodness, that's just not true. There were not 2 SEC teams on the field on Saturday night. I felt there was one, and one team has the luxury of being in this conference since the early 90s, and they've lucked out in that as of late. That's the only reason they're in the SEC right now.
Well, then everybody heard what Ed Ogeron said after the game, so it didn't seem like he was all that concerned. Whoever was on the other side of the field, it didn't look to him like it was an SEC team or a victory that was even worth celebrating.
No, that's right. There was going to be not too much of a celebration to beat Arkansas. They haven't beaten anybody in a long time. So we were supposed to win that football game, and on to Texas A&M.
So I was talking to John about this. We ate lunch before we came to start the show. What do former Arkansas players think about when they hear stuff like that, when they see the performance? Like if I'm Tyler Wilson, if I'm Ryan Mallett, if I'm Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, Travis Swanson, on and on and on. I'm ticked because the legacy that I helped establish at this school where they were nationally relevant, where Arkansas was not the laughingstock of the SEC, but a team you didn't want to play, it's getting burned to the ground right now. And that's this coach that Hunter Yurchek's about to pull the trigger on is so important. And it doesn't. I don't know if it's ever going to get to the back to the point where you had it under Bobby Petrino, a year or two under Houston Nutt. But you got to get that can't happen. Like, you cannot have an opposing coach after the game say something like that and be okay with it. Like, period. As an Arkansas fan, an Arkansas former player, Arkansas coach, whoever it may be, should be genuinely pissed off by those quotes. That should light a fire in them, but it's not going to.
What it sounds like, Ty, is it's the culmination of these last 6 years. You know, I mean, when you hear another coach inside your own division denigrate your team like that, and you know it to be true at the same time, this isn't just a matter of a coach flippantly throwing off another team in the conference. This is what other teams in the SEC think about Arkansas. Not worth celebrating. Expect not just to win, but to run them over. This is the culmination. Is it the firing of Chad Morris? Is it the routine embarrassment week after week? No, it's a respected coach in your division, completely balling up your football program, denigrating it, throwing it in the trash, and then forgetting about it completely. Brought to you by the Fenceman, and if you own a business that needs more security or maybe needs more curb appeal, the Fenceman has a fence that gives you both. They do custom installations, been doing it for 40 years. The number's 479-782-3936. Ask for Henry, the Fenceman, a division of Quantum Property Services. 877-377-6963. Get with us.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
What it's doing to me ain't a secret. You always get more at all.
The year-end clearance offers at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith are so big. It's like Black Friday meets Cyber Monday meets after Christmas sale, all rolled into one. Like 20% off new 2019 half-ton Silverados. That's 20% off all trim levels, even if you want a high country model. Looking for a crossover SUV under 20 grand? Or Chevy's got them. The new 2019 Chevy Trax is clearance priced at $19,643. Or if you'd rather save big on a 2020 model, Orr Chevy is taking $6,000 off 2020 Chevy Equinoxes. Plus, with any new vehicle sold, Orr Chevy will give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So find new roads and save 20% off a 2019 Silverado today at the River Valley's favorite, Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive under the giant American flag. All offers with approved financing through GMF. Surf OrChevyFS.com for more details. And remember,
You always get more at Orr.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the place there's no place else like. Home. It's the circle of chairs around your fire pit, where all the do you remembers get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs in the skillet, crackling along with the laughter. It's the picture in the hall of your great-grandfather, whose mustache he willed to your son.
At Shelter Insurance, we don't just insure your home, we insure all the memories that live inside it. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City! Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones drives inside, finger roll, goes and one. Jones had an avenue to the basket, drew the contact from Armstrong, got it to go. The lead's 14, and Mason's headed to the free throw line.
I appreciate Joe in Mountain Home for texting on the Cherokee Casino hotline to remind me that Franco Broyles did transfer out of Arkansas. Franco played baseball for a year for Dave Van Horn, 2011. Didn't get into all that many games. As I look at his stats here, only played in 12 games there. He did transfer. He transferred to a junior college, Northwest Florida State College, and played 1 year there. So I knew Franco had left the baseball program, but I didn't know that he transferred out of the school. So there, right then and there, you did have Frank's grandson, who he was named for, transferred away from Arkansas. So maybe John Stephen Jones transfers. Maybe Jack Lindsey would have transferred. I don't know. Because if a Broyles can transfer, Ty, anybody can transfer.
I think that's a fair assessment. You think about the pressure associated with like just your last name. Luckily, we're under the luxury where our last names don't really matter in this part of the state, or the state for that matter. But I think anytime you have or are related to the late Frank Broyles, that's just such a lot of people look at it as an honor, obviously, but there's enormous amount of I think pressure that goes along with being associated with that last name, Phil. Some take it in stride, and I feel like it affects others as well. And I know we obviously have a relationship with Madison, one of his granddaughters, and then Bo is a year younger than me, and both those girls are great, but I just that's just tough. Like I can't imagine being in that situation and going to Arkansas where like everyone knew who your grandfather was, like everyone knows all that stuff. It could be difficult for some, and then like I said, others could take it in stride.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's almost impossible to live up to that legacy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, John Stephen Jones is not Jerry Jones. Jack Lindsey is not his grandfather, and Franco was not Frank. So I mean, that's the most difficult part of it, is that you can't live up to that legacy as far as success is concerned, but everybody else is going to remind you that you don't live up to that standard. Let's go to the hotline. It is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Get with us, 877-377-6963. Miss Lisa has dialed in. Miss Lisa, you're not transferring away from Arkansas, are you?
No, I've been with Arkansas for 61 years. I'm not leaving now.
Okay, so there will be a 62nd year. Good, very good.
Oh, yeah, if I live through the rest of this year in the coaching search. But what I'd like to touch on is something y'all were talking about. I wasn't happy with what Ed Orgeron said about us in his presser. But I'll refer back to what Steve Spurrier said one year when he was the coach at Florida, and Ty may remember this. Everyone was complaining because Florida was beating everybody so bad in the East. And Steve Spurrier walked up to the microphone one day, and he said, if you don't like it, get better. Mm-hmm. That's all he said. Turned around and walked off. You remember that, Ty?
I have seen that clip before, Lisa. I don't know if I was alive for that, but I have seen that clip before.
Okay.
There's so much truth to this. There is so much truth to that.
Yes, that's the point I want to make. Okay, I'm pissed as a Razorback fan because he said it. But if we don't like it, we can either accept the status quo or we can get better. And I think we can get better and God knows this board, and I hate to pile on, and this Peoples girl screwed this hire up so bad. And I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I would have known better than this. And they ought to have to pay. Well, I don't even want it. Okay, forget that, Lisa. Get off of it. Get off of it. But if we don't like where we're at, we have no alternative but to get better. And we've got to, and here's something else. We've got to, I don't know how you screen them, but when we get out here and start recruiting this new coach, he's got to make sure if these boys are 3, 4, and 5 stars, if they really want to be here and help rebuild this team. And if they don't, and it's a 5-star recruit, leave him where he's at. I mean, going into this portal and all this stuff, it's just, I want kids. I'm like, Todd, didn't you say it a while ago? Some of these players that we used to have, Greg, the Warren kids, well, my God almighty, this is humiliating. It's humiliating.
Miss Lisa, I thought of you last week because are you into to plane tracking season during coaching search? You listen to enough
Am I into what now? What did you say? I'm sorry.
It's the people that are
No,
that are tracking.
I'm not into that. I've got a friend that is.
Okay.
You know, and they call me and tell me. But no, I'm not smart enough to figure it out on my phone.
Well, I'm not smart enough either, but I do know that that people were tracking a University of Arkansas plane that flew to Salt Lake City, and that made me think of you because I know who you want as the next Arkansas head coach.
Yeah, but I don't think. But you know, they may be going to Salt Lake City to throw everybody off and meeting with Mike Leach.
Oh no, they were there for the NCAA soccer tournament. Arkansas played, I think, in Provo or Salt Lake. That's why they were there. But I just started thinking about it. It's like, well, somebody's out there thinking that they're interviewing Kyle Whittingham, and I thought maybe you would be excited about that.
Well, you know, the more I've thought about it, and then I'll get off here. My top 3 candidates. And y'all can agree or disagree, and anybody else can too. But and it will depend. I mean, I'll still be a Razorback fan, and I'll cherry pick my tickets off of Hogville or something like that. I've got some friends. I got a guy named Zach that lays low that gets me tickets, you know, under the curb, so to speak. But I won't give a donation anymore unless it's someone that I'm confident in. And but my top 3 picks. Number 1, Gus Malzahn. I don't care if people like him or not. It don't matter. You know, people are going to have to get behind the next coach. The whole state is.
All right.
And forget this love law stuff. But what'd you say, Tom?
No, go ahead, Miss Lisa.
No, I'm waiting for bated breath for you.
Oh,
number
okay.
2 and number 3.
Okay, number 2, I've shifted down, and number 2, my next pick has went up to Matt Campbell from Iowa State. He's my second pick.
Okay.
And I was going to go with Mike Norvell of Memphis, but I watched, you know, his presser. I watched the Memphis game Saturday, and I just don't know. I don't know if he is SEC ready. I just, you know, I just don't know. But I would say my number 3 pick would be Mike Leach.
What happened to Kyle Whittingham, Miss Lisa? Did we convince you that he might not take the job?
Well, I mean, I would love to get him, but, you know, I just don't, you know, and he may take the job, but you know, a lot of people say he won't come. I don't know. But I want Gus, I'll just be honest. Gus Malzahn that's who I want. And I hope Alabama beats them 52-0 Saturday.
Miss Lisa, thanks for the call. We haven't had a Gus Bus caller in quite some time, Phil.
That's the absolute truth, Miss Lisa. Have a great Thanksgiving. Yeah. We hope to hear from you next week.
Or this week. She can keep calling back.
Why not? Why not? I mean, she gives you reasoned answers for why she wants somebody. That's for sure. I still don't hear anybody with a defensive connection though, and I think you're going to start hearing about one.
Here's my thing about Gus Malzahn. There are people in this state that absolutely love Gus Malzahn. There are people in this state that absolutely hate him. It seems like more often than not that more people side with Houston Nutt when that whole debacle went down in 2006. I would encourage people to do more research, watch the identity theft of Mitch Mustaine, and some other stuff. But people point to the fact, Phil, that his offense has not worked at Auburn as of late. I think the last great year offensively was like 2013. They had some bright spots with Stidham, but it was inconsistent. It's not always about getting the most talented players. Yes, you need some talent to go along with the guys with heart, the guys that want to play, but it's about getting the right players. You remember, and I know this is just a movie, and I know it's a Disney-fied movie, but remember in Miracle when Herb Brooks is picking out his selected players, and he tells, I can't remember the executive for the Olympic Committee, he's like, it's not about the best players, it's about the right players. For Arkansas to work in football, for Arkansas to be successful in the SEC, they typically don't have the best players. Now, they have some talents, but they have the right ones. They have the kids an influx of in-state kids and out-of-state kids. And it's a combination of talent and heart. And I just think Gus Malzahn would work here. I've been wrong before. I just think that would work out here at Arkansas, Phil.
We're brought to you by Rhodes Chevrolet. And Ty, it's not November, it's Yes-Fember at Rhodes.
Remember, so many great deals going on at Rhodes Chevrolet. Black Friday sales event all month long at Rhodes Chevrolet. Exit 2A on Van Buren off I-540. The prices you'll love and the people you can trust. Rhodes Chevrolet and Van Buren, find new roads.
We'll close out the first hour. Stick around after the break.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
Looking for a bit of cowboy flavor? Introducing Hardee's Southwest Patty Melt. A hearty sandwich with all the taste of the great American Southwest. We're talking a hotter, juicier, thick burger made with 100% black Angus beef, pepper jack cheese, zesty Santa Fe sauce, and enough pickled jalapenos to give it a kick. If it got any more authentic, we'd have to serve it with a cactus and a side of tumbleweeds. The Southwest Patty Melt. Now at Hardee's. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Hotter and juicier beef patty as compared to the Hardee's original beef patty.
Our Black Friday event continues this week at Rhodes Chevrolet in Van Buren. Hi, this is David Neal inviting you to save over 25% on a new 2019 Silverado Z71. That's up to $13,000 in savings and save up to $6,000 on new Chevy Blazers. And I'd like to personally invite you to come in this Friday for free food and soft drinks to let us say thank you for your business. Rhodes Chevrolet in Van Buren, exit 2A off I-540. Find new roads.
See dealer for details. Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man. Fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendinitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child, and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Joe keeps possession, 5 to shoot, needs some help, away to Sills. Desi finds Witt, Jimmy to the basket, shot no good. Bailey with a follow as the shot clock expired. They count the bucket.
Back on halftime here, 877-377-6963. Ty, who was it and what was it that somebody gets on there and becomes the eighth different person of the last week to comment that I look like Joe Rogan?
Yeah, call in on our YouTube live stream, says Phil looks like Joe Rogan, which I always chuckle at. It's funny.
Now this really started when I cut my hair a lot closer. I've got like a third of a millimeter of hair left, and it's not like I had all that much to begin with. But Rogan actually I think goes full bald. I think he shaves his head and then waxes it. He's also I see the resemblance a little bit. As if you're looking on our YouTube right now, you could probably look up my nose as I'm checking out myself here in this sort of mirror sort of contraption.
Mirror sort of.
Does that mean I need to light up a joint in the middle of the show because that's what Rogan does during his podcast?
I think he's kind of irreplaceable for his podcast. I feel like Tommy, if he saw you light up.
Are you telling me I'm not that I'm replaceable, Ty?
I mean, I would hope not, because I think that would, for entertainment purposes, that would be hilarious. I don't feel like Tommy and other members of this company would find the humor as much as you or me or some of our listeners.
Well, Tommy might laugh at it as he's firing me, because I do know in the memorandum of understanding we signed, it said something about no illegal drugs to be used.
Is that just during the show? Is that within the confines of the how's that work?
I think I'm not supposed to get arrested with any drugs.
Okay.
If I get arrested without them, I guess it's okay.
I need to go back and comb through our contract, to fine comb it to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules by doing certain things, just to be safe. By the way, Phil, we were talking about this earlier. We meant to get this text. David in Clarksville texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline.
This is a good text.
This is one of the best texts we have ever received. Speaking to the quarterback situation and knowledge of the offense, David says, knowing the offense is like taking your sister to the prom. Irrelevant if you can't make the throws and reads. I had a good giggle when I heard that. I thought that was great.
I'm just so tired of hearing some of the same crap. That's the problem. Look, I like Barry Lunny. I like him a lot, and I hope he has a future with Arkansas football. And maybe, if this head coaching thing sticks for him, to work his way up to where maybe in the future he's a legitimate candidate as a big time head coach, maybe even at Arkansas. But I don't like some of the things that we heard, after the game. It sounded like Chad Morris. This guy knows the offense. We look like an SEC team for a half. Who cares about that stuff? None of this stuff means anything. Anyway, 877-377-6963. I just want a head coach that gives you a little more honesty now. That's all. You don't have to rip the kids. You don't have to rip the program. Just be honest. Don't feed people full of crap. That's all I'm asking for. Carl in Lavaca texted in earlier. And he's talking about, we're not getting Gus Malzahn. The man laughs at the job and clearly stated he doesn't want it. And he would rather retire than work at Arkansas. And then, by the way, look who's on the Cherokee Casino hotline, the very same Carl from Lavaca. Hello, Carl. What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, so I got a couple things. My point about Gus Malzahn, I feel like even before we hired Chad, everyone was high on him, and I just don't think he would need that job for Arkansas. Once, like I said earlier, he clearly stated he don't want it. I've always texted in about Lane Kiffin, mainly because, he's only got a $2 million buyout. there's no way that guy wants to stay at FAU for any longer than he already has to be there. And I don't think Arkansas is a stepping stone, like a what do you call it? Like a job that would essentially just be another step in his process. I mean, it's an SEC West school, pays a lot of money, and I mean, the more you win here, obviously, the better. And it's not a stepping stone job. That's what I meant to say. And so I've always been a fan of Kiffin, Mr. Joey Freshwater. But yeah, I just always want to voice my thoughts about Gus Malzahn because I just don't think there's any chance on God's green earth that we're landing him.
Carl, why do you think Joey Freshwater doesn't want to stay in Boca Raton as a single man and just in a cush job where he pretty much doesn't have any pressure associated with his head coaching resume?
Well, to your point, I mean, yeah, I mean, that guy's been at the NFL level. He's been at some very prestigious Power 5 schools, and I think he wants to get back there. And there's more money there. Yes, there's not a ton of pressure on him, but I don't think any coach, depending on how good of a coach you want to be and want to be remembered as, I don't think any coach should settle for that. And I think he'd be settling, staying at FAU, as opposed to looking to move into the SEC again or just to another Power 5 program.
Look, I think you're absolutely right about that, Carl. And I don't care how nice Boca Raton is. I don't care if you're a bachelor and you're in an area with all sorts of lovely young ladies. That doesn't matter. Being a head coach in Conference USA is not why men get into head coaching for college football teams. They want to be in the big leagues. They want a shot at the best. You don't get that in Conference USA, nor do you get paid like you're coaching in the big leagues. I see Kiffin as a viable, legitimate candidate at Arkansas, and if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm looking at this as my next best chance to get back into the SEC.
Phil, I think you're throwing a blanket over coaches across the board. Not every coach has it wired in him to compete in the most prestigious, not only conference, but division in college football.
Well, there's truth to that, too. But, look, I mean, I know other coaches that – look, Joe Foley, UALR women's basketball coach, he could be a big-time women's basketball coach. And I think he's interviewed at a couple of places, but he doesn't have the ego that says, I need to be paid this sort of money, I need to be in this league. But what I glean from Lane Kiffin, from his presence on social media, from the way he's gone about his business previously, and from the jobs that he's hopped to here and there again, I think he has that ego. I think he has that drive to be back in the big leagues. So it's a little bit of a blanket statement the way I said it, but I agree there are plenty of coaches that don't have that ego, that don't feel that they need to fulfill themselves by being in the big leagues. I think Lane Kiffin isn't one of those coaches, though.
It's hard to. By the way, Carl and Vac, appreciate the call. I don't know, like, because we heard the clip and we played it on this program before of Michael Lombardi, who's a former GM of the Pats and others, that talked about Lane Kiffin wanting the job back in 2008 when Bobby Petrino ultimately got it. That was on the Rich Eisen show. But how less attractive has this job gotten since? Like, think about it this way. Think about like your high school prom queen, who was just the most beautiful woman everyone wanted to date her. And all of a sudden, college rolls around. A couple years later, she's just not the same. That's like Arkansas football right now. It is not as attractive to coaches across the board. Now, there may be some, potentially Kiffin, potentially some others, that are still interested in the job. But for Arkansas fans to just assume and put out there and decide, oh, this is still one of the best jobs, not only in college football and the Power 5, and it's just not. You need someone to bring you back up. You're on the cusp from never, ever getting back to relevancy in college football. Ever. That's why this hire is so important. You screw this up, you're screwed. Like, who's to say that they won't be a bottom feeder for the rest of my life if they screw up this hire? Because then you'll have probably, 10-plus years of mediocrity and not even mediocrity. They just suck. That's what you're dealing with right now.
Much less than mediocrity.
Yeah.
Much less. Well, I mean, it's all legitimate things you're saying. Arkansas is not one of the best jobs in the country, nor is it in the upper echelon of the SEC jobs. It's in the bottom third as far as football is concerned. But it is still the SEC West. It is still a place that you have an opportunity if you get the program to anywhere near where it was, even under Brett Bielema, where you can at least you can try to make the program relevant, and you're going to get, as long as you're not a complete fool, you're going to get a long rope in which to hang yourself if it does come to that, because I think that that people would have been patient for Chad Morris, would have been fine with a third year if things didn't go so foolishly. These especially this last year, So I mean, there is you don't have much pressure at FAU. There's a different kind of pressure at Arkansas, but the pressure isn't to make it to a bowl game in either of your first 2 years. It's to start pointing things in the right direction, and then let's see where the pressure builds up to, if you actually get a football program that looks a little bit like an SEC West team.
I'm typically a fan of Greg McElroy and Dave Pasch, but if you listen to the broadcast on Saturday night on ESPN, they kept pointing fingers at Arkansas, saying that they were wrong to fire Chad Morris and how you didn't give it enough time and stuff. And that's just I typically know a lot of Arkansas fans feel like that broadcasters as well as the rest of the college football world is against them. And I'll side with Arkansas fans on this. I thought the majority of the conversation that they had with each other on Saturday night was just not true. Arkansas had to do what it had to do. Like, the direction that you were trending was so bad, and you just had to do something. Now, I don't know if 100% firing Chad Morris is the right thing, but something had to be done. And for them to say that several times on the broadcast just didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, it makes it seem like that's an analyst who really wasn't paying close attention to what's going on at Arkansas. And the other thing, too, I mean, it's been six games in a row where there's really not much as far as the game that you're watching is concerned to talk about in the second half. I mean, those have not been fun games to call, so you got to make what you can with what you're given, which is a second half of nothing but conversation. And in McElroy's case, improper and incorrect analysis. Second hour coming after the break. Stick around for more halftime.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Elma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
The list of things I rely on is short. There's my recliner, the lawnmower, the kid sitter, and above all, Michelin tires. Get the tire that's ready to make every stop in every season. And for a limited time, get yours with a $70 reward card after submission when you buy a set of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith. See MichelinMan.com promo for complete details. Offer valid between 11/13/2019 and 12/13/2019. Void where prohibited.
Our Black Friday event continues this week at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Hi, this is David Neal inviting you to save over 25% on a new 2019 Silverado Z71. That's up to $13,000 in savings, and save up to $6,000 on new Chevy Blazers. And I'd like to personally invite you to come in this Friday for free food and soft drinks to let us say thank you for your business. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, exit 2A off I-540. Find new roads.
See dealer for details.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather overnight, clear skies and our low near 40. Sunny and mild tomorrow. Afternoon highs will be in the low 60s. Monday night, we have a little cold front moving in with a few showers. We'll be in the mid-50s. Lingering showers on Tuesday and about 65. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Hey, guys, enjoy your show. Out of all the sports programs in the state, I really enjoy y'all's most.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You want answers.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
it? Wide open again. All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
I'm doing this a little earlier than I usually would. See what I got here? See this, Ty? See this thing? This is the box score from Arkansas LSU. This is what I think of that game. That I usually do that on Wednesdays. I threw that garbage across the room. I should have lit it on fire. I'm so tired talking about this season for Arkansas football.
Two SEC teams.
It's not worth it right now. It really isn't. You got a basketball team that's got a great game later on tonight. You got a women's basketball team that just took their first loss of the year in a tough place to play. You got a women's cross-country program that just won a national title for the first time. But, of course, Arkansas football drives the conversation. It drives the budget in most cases. But I'm not getting into that waste of a football game from Saturday any longer, unless you want to, and you can force me to by calling up 877-377-6963 and give us a call or a text on the Cherokee Casino hotline. I've been in a back and forth with Adam from Wynn about some of the quotes from Barry Lunny, and he's saying, look, I mean, coaches do feed a lot of BS after getting their tail kicked no matter what, not going to change the state of the program or fan base. I say, you're right. You're right, it doesn't change the fact, but I think people just are craving a little honesty right now. My biggest problem with what you heard from Barry Lunny Saturday was that it sounded like the same stuff you could have come from Chad Morris, and I thought that Lunny, for the most part, I mean, for the 2 weeks leading into the LSU game, for his sound bites, and look, you don't judge a coach based upon sound bites or how they deal with the media. That's just a completely backwards way to look at it. But you do like a little bit of honesty and somebody that speaks from the heart and somebody that gives you more truth than fluff-filled crap. And I just felt like Saturday after the game it was just a little bit more fluff.
Phil, you know who speaks from the heart?
Who?
Eddie in Clarksville.
Eddie doesn't just speak from the heart. He speaks from the diaphragm. You know what I mean? I don't know if Eddie ever took a singing class, but I'll guarantee you if Eddie ever took a singing class, he could belt out an aria with the best of them. Eddie is on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Hey, what's up, Eddie? How you doing, man?
How you guys doing today? First of all, I'd like to start off to wish you and Ty the happiest Thanksgiving with your families. Tremendous job y'all do every day on the airwaves. And to all the Razorback Nation and your families, when you gather Thanksgiving Day, just make it mean a little bit more. But I'd like to start off, I did this morning, congratulate the women's cross team for bringing track and field to bringing back a national title to the U of A. That's great news to hear. And we got a game tonight, by the way, under Coach Musselman. Win or lose the game, he's got a program. He shook up things, and he's getting things rolling in a big way. And win or lose the game tonight, I can see in the future we're getting back to hawk ball, pushing the ball up the court and slamming it home. And as a kid, come Thanksgiving Day, Mr. K.K. Robinson, I've been making a plea the last couple of weeks. come stay home, please, sir. Come join Jalen. Come join Devontae and Moses. And we're going to be pushing the ball up the court and slamming it home real soon. And we're going to be bringing back titles to the U of A. I'm just so happy and blessed to have Coach Musselman, and that leads to our football program. Hey, listen here, Mr. Yurchek, you hit a home run hire and Coach Musselman. And I don't know, I'm going to trust in you that you're going to bring a leader to the U of A and at least get our team competing again in the SEC, but just competing on a national level, and by the way, on a high level. You know, so we're going to trust that's going to happen. And that's all I have to say to God. God bless us all. And I'm going to trust again that Hunter Yurchek bring us a coach that's going to get it turned around. And for the announcers that announced Saturday over the weekend that we didn't give Coach Morris a chance, we weren't even competing. And you cannot keep a coach in any league, in any conference, when your team's not competing. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you for taking my call today.
You got it, Eddie. Appreciate you calling, and also I more than anything appreciate you changing the conversation of basketball, because that's a lot more fun to talk about now. Hogs looked awfully impressive against South Dakota, and more than anything, I mean, it was Jimmy Witt. It was Jimmy Wittsville on Friday. I mean, if you want to say in college basketball, and maybe even in the NBA, that the mid-range jumper is a lost art, well, you haven't watched Jimmy Witt, who seemed to master the lost art of the mid-range jumper. I mean, the turnaround, the spin, he looked terrific, really on both ends of the court. And for a team right now that is struggling to hit the three-point shot, it's good to see somebody in Jimmy Witt that can hit the two-point shot.
Yeah, Phil and I were sitting next to each other in the South Dakota game on Friday night, and we just kept looking at each other because Jimmy Witt, what's interesting about his game, Phil, is he doesn't have many, if any, sets called directly for him. He kind of facilitates, and if the offense isn't clicking or he feels like he needs to take over, he'll just pull up about 12, 13 feet. And typically, I think he missed 3 shots on Friday night. He was rolling. And I know Eric Musselman touched on the press conference that you just said. For the analytics guys out there that think mid-range is going out of style, welcome to Jimmy Witt's world, because he has thrived in that role. And you can look at a guy like Sean Livingston and some other guys in the NBA that still use the mid-range game effectively. Now, it's not as used as much because of guys like Steph Curry jacking 30-something footers, which is fine if you're making them, but some guys, they know their role, they know what they do better, and they stick to their mid-range game. But I think people are really interested, Phil, to see what happens tonight. Can Arkansas have that same type of defense in their first road game of the season in a team they lost to in Georgia Tech last year?
Well, you're facing a Tech team that's pretty good defensively. Maybe not at the statistical level of Arkansas. The Hogs right now, second in the country, allowing just 47.8 points a game. And Tech's only played 3 games. Most recently, 5 days ago, they lost at UGA 82-78, but they really weren't at full strength. They had a couple of guys that were either injured in the case of Jose Alvarado, who was the point guard who killed Arkansas last year at 20 points, or in the case of 6'10" senior forward James Banks, who was dealing with the flu. Banks, by the way, leads the country in blocks per game, plus he's pulled down over 8 rebounds per ball game. Georgia Tech allows 33% shooting from the field. Arkansas allows 33.7% shooting from the field. So Tech ranks 3rd in the country. Arkansas ranks 6th. Then it'll be a really good defensive battle for sure. So Arkansas, and this is, the funny thing about Witt, he hasn't shot a single three-pointer yet, not one. And yet he is shooting a team best 58.5%. And it's not just Witt getting to the rim. Adrio Bailey is shooting 51.6%. That's mostly on dunks and layups and stickbacks. Mason Jones is shooting over 50% from inside the three-point line. Isaiah Joe, he's got a shooting percentage close to 50% from inside the three-point line. Arkansas shooting 57.4% on two-point shots. So they do have guys who can obviously finish at the rim in the case of Witt, or in the case of, a Desi. Desi, by the way, might want to stop shooting the threes. He's 1 for 22 from downtown. You get a guy like Jones, who's starting to get to the rim a little bit more often, certainly gets to the foul line a ton. But this is a team right now that is showing, that they're going to have to start hitting three-point shots to win games against a team like Georgia Tech. And, oh, by the way, Tech allows just 26% behind the arc. I think this is one of those games, Ty, where, you can get away with shooting like a 4 for 20 against Texas Southern from long range. You can get away of shooting 26.5% to start the season from behind the arc, but start the year 5-0 because you played at home and you played, pretty low-level competition for the most part. Got to start hitting some three-point shots today. And who do you look at? Got to get Isaiah Joe going. Isaiah, 37.8% behind the arc, but it's been like 4 consecutive games that it really hasn't had the shot for a full 2 halves.
Yeah, they've had the luxury of playing some lesser teams to start up the season where they've been okay despite not hitting some threes. Phil, you're exactly right. They need to hit some three-pointers in Atlanta tonight. You might still be able to scrape out a win, but if you want to have the same type of dominant performance that you've had as of late, you got to start hitting some shots behind the arc.
6 o'clock tip. It's on the ACC network, so it actually is on a television channel. Imagine that. And, of course, you'll have it right here on ESPN Arkansas with the Learfield IMG pregame show beginning at 5:30. It is the holidays, and Breeden RV and Van Buren can help take away the stress of the holidays with the year-end clearance sale that continues right now. Breeden will let you choose your deal. You can pick from either sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever deal works best for you, that works best for Breeden RV as well. And, of course, you get free maintenance for life with any new RV. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. Get with Halftime after the break.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Tell me this, do you kiss on the first day?
This is the Morning Rush.
I get sick and tired of hearing all these national media members think that Arkansas was wrong for firing Chad Morris. Do they watch this season at all? Do they watch any games this year? Arkansas lost to San Jose State at home. They lost to Western Kentucky, got blown out by them at home. I don't know what team they've been watching this season, but to me it is completely and totally justifiable for firing Chad Morris.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open, located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Our Black Friday event continues this week at Road Chevrolet in Van Buren. Hi, this is David Neal inviting you to save over 25% on a new 2019 Silverado Z71. That's up to $13,000 in savings and save up to $6,000 on new Chevy Blazers. And I'd like to personally invite you to come in this Friday for free food and soft drinks to let us say thank you for your business. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren, exit 2A off I-540. Find new roads.
See dealer for details. Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now open on Sundays. Breakfast is served all day, and our hot buffet is served from 11 to 8, 7 days a week. Our breakfast buffet is now served from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. every day. All-you-can-eat steak Thursday night, cooked order prime rib Friday night, and a seafood buffet on Saturday night. We have a party room that'll seat 50 and plenty of parking. Call ahead, 632-1014.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Hogs need a bucket here. Joe drives the baseline and the basket, throws it down with a left hand. Wow! Isaiah Joe with the offhand. We hadn't seen that. No.
Connor O'Gara coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll talk college football with the editor of Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. So I'm up in Fayetteville, and I got to be honest here. I'm a little bit nervous of walking over to campus. The batch pad is across the street, and I don't have to go to campus. I don't have to. There's no reason to unless there's a game right now. I'll meet the women's basketball team Wednesday morning at Boehm Stadium to drive. I think we're flying out of Tulsa to go to the Bahamas. But I don't have to go to campus. And now why would I want to go to campus? Because there's a mumps outbreak at the University of Arkansas. There have been, I think, close to a couple handfuls of students that have been affected by the mumps. I saw an email come from the athletic department that stated that all athletes at the University of Arkansas can, if they choose to or if they want to, or if they haven't been, if they haven't gotten their second dose of the MMR vaccine, that they can go get that second dose, because you need 2 doses of it to really be fully vaccinated and protected from this. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox about this, but who didn't vaccinate their kids for from the MMR? I mean, I know this. Let's not be anti-vaxxers out there about this, because then you're putting everybody at risk. And there's a thought that I know Nikki had asked Barry Lunny at the presser today if it affected the football team, and he was non-committal. So
yes,
maybe so.
Yeah, my little sister's on campus. She's a junior up there now, and I text her and I was like, "Hey, you need to just be aware of this or whatever." And she said that her house mom has the whooping cough too, and so this is just not a good time to be on the University of Arkansas. And I mean, you think about in compact areas with classrooms and stuff, all the student athletes, regardless of their football, basketball, whatever, if there's an outbreak because of how tight you are, whether it's dorms, whether it's classrooms, whether it's dining halls, the outbreak is kind of like in airports. It's more likely to affect a number of different people because of how close everyone in proximity is.
So that means it's a good thing that Arkansas is playing in Little Rock this Friday rather than the on-campus stadium, right? Nobody. Who wants to be on campus right now?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Who wants to be on campus? That would be a frightening idea. And look, I'm not necessarily. I don't want to sound like an alarmist here. I think most of us have been fully vaccinated by this and are therefore protected. But it just is I don't know. I guess it fits into the story of the football season. But I hope, whomever it is that's ill on campus, whatever students or any staff that are affected, are able to get through it quickly, because if you've ever known anybody that's dealt with the mumps, this is a pretty miserable experience.
Yeah,
and you will be put in quarantine for something like close to a month. Nobody wants that.
All right, let's talk about something positive.
We don't want to talk about illnesses, about communicative disease.
We've done enough football. We've done enough illnesses. Let's not worry about the bets because I won this week. We don't have to go into long talk about that. Let's talk about this basketball recruiting class. Phil, it's number 8 in the country right now on 24/7 Sports. It has the potential to go higher if KK Robinson commits on Thanksgiving Day. That would give them 4 4-stars in this upcoming class, according to 24/7 Sports. You got Moses at 43, Jalen at 70, KK at 73, and Devontae at 97. This recruiting class, compared to recent years, this is huge. Last year, they were 157th.
Well, you only had one recruit last
3-star,
year.
Justice Hill. So if you look at Arkansas, they have had 2 top 10 recruiting classes since 2003, according to 24/7 Sports. 2004 and 2011. So you haven't had any top 10. You would be 3rd if you finished out, if everything finished out how it did in the SEC behind Tennessee and Kentucky. This would be massive in Eric Musselman's first year. We've talked about the ability to try and get 5. If you could get 4 of these in-state kids out of 5, especially with how highly rated they are, that's incredible in year 1, man. For him to flip Devontae, for him to pull in Jalen and Moses, and then potentially KK in less than, when did he get hired? In April?
April.
Yeah. That's incredible.
No, March. I think it was.
March?
It was still.
Was it still March?
No, it was April.
I think
That's
it was
right. It was
April.
after the Final Four.
Yeah, I was
That's
going to say, I think it was April.
Hey, where was Davis committed to before he got flipped?
Oklahoma State. So
Okay.
Mike Boyden. And they hired, if I remember correctly, they hired this like top recruit's brother or something to get him committed. Is that right, Brent? Yeah, I think that's right. I can't think of the guy's name, but just awesome, man. Like everyone, we heard it from Eddie. Maybe Lisa touched on this, but everyone's just excited about this basketball team right now. And they might not go to the NCAA tournament this year. You hope they do, but they might not. But it's the years to come that you should be getting your basketball season tickets now. Because for a while, Bud Walton hasn't been sold out. The season tickets haven't been sold out. But Phil, you should potentially start buying, make an investment, get your season tickets now, because the outlook for the future of this basketball program is pretty bright right now.
It really is. And Shane, we'll get to you in a moment. I know he's on hold on the Cherokee Casino hotline. One of the things I loved about Jalen Williams' commitment, verbal commitment to Arkansas over the weekend, is that now you have a grassroots phrase that I think will be tossed around Arkansas basketball for a long time now. And it's his hooping at home thing spurred some of the funniest videos coming out of the Arkansas athletic department that I've seen in a long time, which included Eric Musselman dribbling around on the landing of his stairway with, I guess that was Miss Danielle.
Yeah, Miss Danielle.
Asking, what is it you're doing? And he's shouting, hooping at home. You saw Coach Clay Mosier do the same thing. Earl Boykins did the same thing. Just regular staffers in the athletic department doing the same thing. So, in this day and age of researched slogans and hashtags that you put on a field or on a court, I would love to see this hooping at home thing actually become a thing, because that's what this class is all about. It's all about great in-state basketball talent supposedly choosing, in the case of Moses, Jalen, Devontae, and hopefully KK Robinson, to hoop at home.
Yeah.
And how often can you say that the best players in state did stay to hoop at home? So I think that's a really exciting thing of what you're seeing right now. All right, we promised Shane some airtime here. Shane dialed us up on the Cherokee Casino hotline, which, by the way, is 877-377-6963. Shane, thanks for your patience and holding. What's going on?
Hey, guys, I just want to say I enjoy the show. Happy Thanksgiving week. I just got one thing to say and one thing to ask about, and I'll hang up and listen to your response. Number one, I think Coach Musselman is really doing a great job. For the first time in several years, I'm extremely excited about Hawk basketball. Georgia Tech, do we know how good this team is supposed to be? Are they pretty stacked this year, or are they going to be a middle-of-the-pack ACC team?
Well,
and
the
also
ACC,
on the football side of things.
No, go ahead. You ask your second question, and we'll get to it.
On the football side of things, I don't know much about football. I'll qualify this with the fact that I've never played the game, but I don't know if it's all Coach Chavis or if it's a lack of talent. But these screenplays and draws and these quarterback scampers, they seem to be killing us in every game. I'm watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, I'm not even a football player or coach, and I think I would at some point start planning for those kinds of plays. I mean, they're just destroying us on them, game in and game out, and I'll hang up and listen.
Well, that goes to a lot of team speed, I think. And to your point about Georgia Tech, I mean, keep in mind the ACC still is the best conference in college basketball. Georgia Tech was picked by ACC media to finish 12th in the 15-team ACC basketball league. But they do return a lot of players from last year's team. Most of the names that played against Arkansas last year will be there once again. I mean, and they've got size. This is the thing that will test Arkansas more than anything else. 6'10" starting forward James Banks, almost 12 points, 8.3 rebounds, and we already got into all his block shots. He averages over 5 blocks a game. They've got a 6'9" power forward Moses Wright, who starts every game. He also averages almost 11 points and almost 8 rebounds. They've got a 6'7" three-player Khalid Moore and a 6'10" Evan Cole, who comes off the bench to give Banks some time to sit. Their best scorer is Michael DeVoe. DeVoe didn't really do much against Arkansas last year. He was a freshman. He's a 6'5" wing player, and he's third in the country, averaging 26 points per game. Now, you remember, who was it? South Dakota had that 6'10" Tyler Hagedorn, who'd hit like 81% of his three-pointers. I don't have the box score in front of me, so I don't exactly remember what he did, but I know he didn't have one of those great games. DeVoe is second in the nation in three-point shooting, behind Hagedorn. He's made 11 of 15. That's 73.3%. So, again, Arkansas's three-point defense will be tested by Georgia Tech. But what South Dakota couldn't do necessarily was, I don't think they had the combination of speed and size that you have from Georgia Tech. So, the interesting thing about Tech, they've got this size. They still haven't rebounded very well. They've been out-rebounded by about a third of a rebound per game. Part of that is also, the opponents have missed so many more shots than Georgia Tech. I think this is a great road matchup, one of 3 difficult venues that Arkansas goes to travel to this year, along with Western Kentucky and Indiana. And especially after losing to Tech last year on your home court, you want to get out there and give a pretty good performance. Got to stop Jose Alvarado, their point guard, who might not be available. He missed most of the second half with an ankle injury against Georgia and has only played in 2 of their 3 games this year. So, again, that's a 5:30 airtime. And I know that all Arkansas basketball fans, you've been waiting for a matchup like this because you want to believe that Coach Musselman has things going great right now, but you also know Arkansas hasn't played a really good team yet. They haven't been on the road yet. This is the toughest test of the season. All right, we'll come back after the break. We're going to talk college football with the one and only Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, so stay tuned.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
The year-end clearance offers at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith are so big. It's like Black Friday meets Cyber Monday meets after Christmas sale, all rolled into one. Like 20% off new 2019 half-ton Silverados. That's 20% off all trim levels, even if you want a high country model. Looking for a crossover SUV under 20 grand? Or Chevy's got them. The new 2019 Chevy Trax is clearance priced at $19,643. Or if you'd rather see big on a 2020 model, Or Chevy is taking $6,000 off 2020 Chevy Equinoxes. Plus, with any new vehicle sold, Or Chevy will give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So find new roads and save 20% off a 2019 Silverado today at the River Valley's favorite, Or Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive under the giant American flag. All offers with approved financing through GMF. Surf OrChevyFS.com for more details. And remember,
you always get more at Orr.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
Frank Roll Furniture's Black Friday sale will be opening Thanksgiving Day at 2 p.m. and regular hours on Friday and Saturday for a 3-day Black Friday super sale. 5-piece queen bedroom suits $5.99, 5-piece king bedroom suits $6.99, black or white kids soccer beds $50, glider rockers and regular recliners $150 while supplies last. Customers with purchase of $1,000 more will receive a free 32-inch TV while supplies last. Frank Roll Furniture Black Friday sale, best seats in the house.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Keeps it himself, taking off and taking on Murphy, and runs all the way up past the 45-yard line. Listen to this crowd come alive.
Well, some people think this is the best week of the year if you're a college football fan or an NFL fan. Let's see what Connor O'Gara thinks about that. Connor covering college football at Saturday Tradition and at Saturday Down South. So, Connor, could you pick another 7-day period that would make a college football fan any happier than what you're about to experience?
You know, that's a great point. I don't think there is a better 7-day stretch for a football fan. People are going to say, oh, yeah, the college football playoff, when you got all these New Year's Six matchups surrounding that, you know, that's up there. But to me, there's something about rivalry week that everybody can relate to. And, you know, with the combination of the NFL stuff on Thursday and, you know, getting to see kind of big NFL games as well on Sunday, I'm not as big into the NFL these days. But, yeah, I mean, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better 7-day stretch of football.
I heard CBS is going to run reruns of I Love Lucy Friday at 1:30 instead of the Arkansas-Missouri football game. Is there a worse game in the SEC all year long, not just this week, than Arkansas-Mizzou?
Oh, that's a good question. We thought Vandy, Kentucky was going to be kind of bad, but Lynn Bowden playing well sort of made a difference in that one. I don't know, man. Like, this is depressing, and it's depressing just because Mizzou doesn't even know if it's going to celebrate a bowl victory if it wins, and are we sure Mizzou is going to win? Like, what does the winner of this game get? That's the fascinating thing of they get to go home and they get a Saturday free, I guess. That's the reward. But yeah, I mean, what an awful matchup. Just everybody knows, you know, especially your listeners, they know how bad it's been for Arkansas this year and how a win, yes, even though they haven't had an SEC win in the last 2 years, you know, that would certainly be a huge boost for kids who have stuck around this program and have not given up necessarily. I get all that, but grand scheme of things, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot at stake. Maybe just Barry Odom's job. That's probably the only thing that's at stake on Friday. I think I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just feels like this game is just like the ultimate don't lose it or else things are somehow going to get even worse for your program type of game.
You know, I saw you I think you were on another station earlier today talking about Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. And so, I mean, you get a really interesting matchup of Cincinnati and Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. And so, I mean, both of these coaches, I think, are legitimate candidates to be the next Arkansas football coach. You get a guy like Norvell, who's steeped in offense. You get a guy like Fickell, who's, as far as I know, he's the only possible candidate that I've heard from Arkansas that has a defensive background. And I think that could pay some dividends because, Arkansas's got to build offense a lot, but, man, this team needs really a lot of help defensively. What do you think about, a Fickell versus Norvell and how either one of those two might fit into being potentially the next head coach at Arkansas?
Yeah, I think Fickell, if you're an Arkansas fan turning your nose at Fickell, it's because of one of two things. It's probably because he has no roots in the Southeast, and we've talked about that a lot with the Joe Moorhead thing, and I think that's a lot overblown. I think if you can coach in one region of the country, you can coach in many. I think you just need to be willing to give him some time to make those connections in those southern places, but he's done his fair share of recruiting on the road with all the time that he's spent in Ohio State. Or, if you're an Arkansas fan saying, well, we've seen what he can do as a Power 5 head coach. He took over Ohio State in the post-Tattoo Gates era, and he didn't fare too well. And that's true. I'd argue he inherited a really difficult situation there, and I think that what he's been able to do at Cincinnati, a program that was stuck at 4 wins when he started there. I mean, he took over a 4-win program that won 4 games in his first year there, and now he's got him on the cusp of a potential New Year's Six Bowl. And I think right now a guy like Fickell would make a lot of sense. And I don't think that Arkansas is in position to say, we're too good for that. What's the candidate list right now? What's the realistic candidate list right now where they'd potentially look at somebody who might be going to a New Year's Six Bowl, much like P.J. Fleck did a few short years ago, and then he took the Minnesota job? What's to say that Arkansas would be too good for somebody like that, somebody like Norvell, somebody like Fickell? Just because they aren't necessarily the biggest name doesn't necessarily mean that they're the wrong person for the job. I would question anybody that still has that mindset at this point.
Talking with Connor O'Gara Saturday down south on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Connor, there was one top 25 matchup this week in Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State gets that victory. I know we keep mentioning him, but Chase Young was just dominant once again, man. I know, I believe a defensive player hasn't won the Heisman Trophy since Charles Woodson, but do you think Chase Young will at least make it to New York based on the way he's played this season?
He has to. And I know he missed the 2 games. It's scary to think about what he would have been able to do against Maryland and Rutgers. I mean, should we just, by default, add like 6 sacks onto his total or something like that? I mean, it's unbelievable. The guy just is a one-man wrecking crew, and he is so fun to watch. Not only get in after the quarterback, but the way that he just gets after the backfield. He just forces you to do things on offense that you're not comfortable doing. We saw Wisconsin wasn't able to do double teams on him, and they're like, that's not what we do. That's not how we built our offense. And they refused to do it. Chase Young took over the game, and it was a rout. And I think that you see him play like that against like Penn State, and you're just like, all right, why is this kid not in the Heisman conversation? What would potentially keep him out of getting to New York? Is it just because he didn't play those 2 games? Do we really think those 2 games against Maryland and Rutgers were going to hold him back, and he needed to prove it against those teams? To me, he belongs in New York, and you could maybe make a case that he deserves it even more than Justin Fields right now. I mean, that is how much he has changed the game. Ask the average college football fan, and they might tell you that he's the best player in college football. I don't think I'd necessarily disagree with them. I think that he's just been a force, unlike anything that we've seen maybe since Ndamukong Suh. I mean, that's the kind of level that he is playing at right now on the defensive side of the ball.
Connor, there's still a couple scenarios down the stretch that could happen that could shake up the college football playoff. I want to go over one of them first. We'll get to another one in a sec. If LSU beats Texas A&M this weekend but loses to Georgia in the SEC championship, do they still deserve to be in the college football playoff?
Absolutely, yeah. LSU has built one of the best playoff resumes that we've seen during the 6-year run of the playoff, and I think that the quality wins going on the road and beating a team like Texas, who, yes, has struggled this year, but they're still going to go to a bowl game. It's still something the selection committee is going to value somewhat. To me, that's going to carry some weight. And, it's the fact that they have the best win of anybody in college football right now. Going to Alabama and beating Nick Saban on his home field, there's nobody in the country that's going to be able to say they have a win that good. And to me, that's going to hold a lot of weight. I think if they win that game against A&M, yeah, they do have a loss to give, unless, for some crazy reason they lose that game to Georgia like 51-0, and they just look like they don't belong on the same field, which I don't think that's going to happen in a million years. Then, yeah, I mean, I think that LSU would be in theoretically, and I think anybody that's saying that's SEC bias or whatever, they're just ignoring the fact that LSU has all these quality wins and has looked the part. Yes, they have some weaknesses on the defensive side of the ball. They're dealing with some issues right now. They have not performed up to par, but I think that still what this team has been able to do this year would absolutely be playoff worthy, even without an SEC championship.
All right, Connor, about another minute on this next scenario. If Baylor beats Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship in Dallas, do they deserve to be in the college football playoff?
I'm gonna say no, just for the simple fact that the lack of quality wins is gonna be alarming, and I think that right now the way the selection committee has valued Baylor, I mean they just have not given them the love. They really have not, and a lot of that has to do with the non-conference. The non-conference play was terrible, and they just don't have the average margin of victory against Power 5 teams is something like a touchdown. Ohio State has beat Power 5 teams by an average of 40 points. At least that's what it was going into the Penn State game. They have not looked the part, and they are the fear of the selection committee. The fear would be that they would get them on the big stage and they would just roll over and die. And so to me, I think that Baylor would have a really, really difficult time getting in, despite the fact that they could be a one-loss Power 5 conference champ. I think that what the selection committee has told us about their resume so far is just not good enough.
The Utah Utes, though, are the angriest team in college football over the weekend because they needed Oregon to beat Arizona State. But a loss by Oregon, that probably means there won't be a Pac-12 team in the college football playoff once again.
I think Utah still has a path. I think they still have a path. They're going to be at number 6 on Tuesday night when the selection show comes out. I think they're still going to have a path, though. I would tend to think that Oklahoma benefited the most from that Oregon loss. I thought Oregon would get in over Oklahoma if both of those teams won out. Now I think that's a different discussion. Utah is really going to need the Pac-12 teams in their favor to really help them out and have one of these teams or a couple of these teams sneak their way into the top 25. USC snuck their way into the top 25 surprisingly last week. That's the one team that Utah lost to. So they need some help from other teams as well, but I wouldn't necessarily say that their path to the playoff is gone. I would still think that a one-loss Utah team would make the field over a one-loss non-conference champ Bama team.
Very good. Connor, we always appreciate you, man. It's a short week. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving holiday and enjoy all the college football.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition, covering all things college football. All right, we got 3 up, 3 down coming up. If you got any ups or downs, let us know. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. And a cherry on the top of halftime is coming up right after this break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime.
The biggest discounts ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. 2019 GMC Sierra SLT 4x4s. The biggest savings ever. Only $40,999. 2020 GMC Terrain slashed to $21,999. And 2019 Buick Encores. The lowest price ever. $16,999. The biggest savings ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the 2nd year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Football, fine weather, and my chance to flip the lot. We're out to sell every single car in our Rath Road Ready inventory and flip the lot during our fall clearance. That's right, every vehicle must go. To make it happen, we're discounting our entire inventory with savings up to $4,300 below retail. Even our special purchase vehicles are included, like 2018 Hyundai Elantra SELs for only $13,991. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and 50% off brake pads. Don't miss out on the savings. Help us flip the lot. Get the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you and save up to $4,300 during the fall clearance at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Alma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
The biggest discounts ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 2019 Ford F-150 regular cab. The lowest price ever, only $19,999. 2019 Ford Escape slashed to $23,750. And the 2019 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive Super Cab, only $29,999. The biggest discounts ever during the Black Friday sales event at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Now it's Jefferson. Touchdown. Simply put, you can't better debut than that one.
Closing it up with a cherry on the top, halftime today on a Monday. Before we get into that, have you entered the Branson Holiday Trip for a Lifetime contest right now at hitthatline.com? If you haven't, you still have a couple of weeks to get to it. So you get 3 nights at the Hilton in Branson. You'll get tickets to a Christmas show. You'll go to the North Pole Adventure at the Shepherd of the Hills. You'll go to the Christmas Music Ferris Wheel Ride at the Track Family Fun Park, and you get Branson Restaurant gift cards. All for free. All you got to do is go to hitthatline.com, enter your name, email, address, and phone number, and you could be the lucky winner. You got to be 21 years of age or older. You can register up until December the 10th, and you can do it once a day. It's brought to you by Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau, hitthatline.com, and ESPN Arkansas. And it sounds like a whole lot of fun. All right, let's get into this Monday thing, this 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah, this hold on.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning, strike 3.
So we were over in the Bay Area over the weekend with Arkansas women's basketball. And I think I brought this up Friday. I was completely surprised by head coach Mike Neighbors when he called before Friday's show and asked if I would be interested in going to see a production of Hamilton at the Orpheum Theater in San Francisco. And it's like, yes, why wouldn't I be? It's like asking if I'd like to have $1 million to go see the most famous stage production in the United States over the last 5 years. You are darn right I want to go see it. I didn't realize that the entire team was coming too. This is something else to really to introduce to a group of young ladies who might not have been given the opportunity to do this previous in their life, to introduce them to a fantastic stage production with an amazing cast, music that you want to listen to for the rest of your life, and a beautiful historic theater in the Orpheum. I thought that was a wonderful thing for Mike Neighbors to do along with the rest of the basketball staff. Now, I mean, it didn't lead to their loss at Cal, but they did lose the next day 84-80 in a game that had a lot of back and forth and was well played by both teams. But I got to say, I felt as spoiled as I've ever felt, Ty, because my seat was row J, center orchestra. It was like the absolute best seats you could have. It would be like being like 7 rows back at the 50-yard line of a football game, or 7 rows back at midcourt, or right behind home plate for a baseball game. It was the absolute best seats you could have asked for. The cast was amazing. The story is great. And I still feel, I really do, I feel a little bit of glow from having a chance to see Hamilton and San Francisco. So I already thanked Mike for it personally, but I should thank him again over these airwaves because he does listen to us every once in a while.
Sounds like you had a good time, buddy.
I did. It was wonderful. And really just being back in the Bay Area, if only for a day, it brought back some memories. You know, before I lived in Arkansas, I lived in a city called Stockton, California, which is east of the Bay Area by about 75 minutes to 90 minutes. So you take advantage of that. I spent a birthday in San Francisco, went to some Giants games. That was the first year that the new Giants Park had opened, and really fell in love with the city and the whole area. So it was great to be back. Have you ever been to the San Francisco Bay, Ty?
I have never been to California except for passing over it to go to Cabo, buddy.
Now, look, I mean, there are some really beautiful cities in this country. You'd probably be hard-pressed to find a prettier city or just a prettier overall setting than San Francisco and the Bay Area. I will say that the homeless problem in San Francisco absolutely knocked me aside. As I took a lift a couple of times, you can't help but see there are piles of trash on the sidewalk here and there. The scent of urine kind of permeates through some of the areas where I walked around. It is a beautiful city, but the homeless problem is way out of hand. I'd read about it, but until you see it, you don't really know what the city is facing and what these people that have nowhere to go are facing. It's a crisis, and I mean, I wouldn't know any way to stop it. It doesn't lessen my thought, though, that San Francisco is an absolutely gorgeous city. All right, my first down is a down that there will be no Greg Schiano return to Rutgers. It's not going to happen. So the glory days of Rutgers football will not be returning.
Can you name one player outside of Ray Rice and Tom Savage and Eric LaGrange that went to Rutgers?
Can't. I didn't even know who Eric LaGrange was. It was impossible to. Yeah, I don't know. But yet they still beat Arkansas 2 years in a row. So they he was the choice, and they were negotiating. Came down to a salary of about $4 million a year, but broke off talks because Rutgers would not increase assistant coaches' salaries, and they wouldn't commit to getting better football facilities. So you think about these ideas. How is Rutgers ever going to compete in the Big Ten? You know the answer? They're not. It's never going to happen. Rutgers football, way down.
So one of the things that I've talked to certain New Jersey people about is this legendary food truck place called Are You Hungry, Phil? If you heard, I mean, you're a northern guy. Have you heard of that place? That's really close to Rutgers.
What's the name of the town again?
It's a food place called Are You Hungry?
Nope.
They have fat sandwiches where stuffed with like mozzarella sticks, chicken strips, French fries, just like whatever combination you think of, they have it. And I eventually want to make my way over there, not to see a Rutgers football game, but to try Are You Hungry? That's what I want to do. All right. First up for me, got to start here. Arkansas covered, baby. Never doubt, Phil. I know that you were down.
You doubted it for sure.
I know it took you a week to finally hop on board. Arkansas covered, never doubted. My first down. Miami lost to Florida International, 30-20
on homecoming.
21-point favorites. They lose. Bad
Did
look.
you see? I forget the name of the player who said this, but after the game, one of the FIU players said that they didn't even refer to the Hurricanes as the University of Miami throughout the week. They called them the University of Coral Gables. And then he said, "We're the real University of Miami." That's a kick in the pants for the Canes.
And I would say that they could do something about it, but they couldn't because they just lost on homecoming to Florida International. So that's my first down. Miami, dumpster fire right now. Well, I say dumpster fire. We talk about Arkansas football for a living, so there's one real dumpster fire.
All right, my second up, JETS, Jets. All you got to do is score 34 points a game and you'll win. That's what's happened the last 3 weeks for the New York Jets, and consecutive wins over the Giants, Washington, and Oakland. Now, look, the Giants aren't any good. Washington isn't any good. Oakland was like the sexy, hot team over the last few weeks, and then they roll in and get totally rolled by the New York Jets. And it could even get better for the Jets in the next couple of weeks because they get the hapless Cincy Bengals and the Miami Dolphins. So who would have thought the Jets are a hot NFL team? My second down, both Division II schools in Arkansas that made the D2 national playoffs lost their playoff game to start. And it was the shocking one was Ouachita losing at home to Lindenwood, which was an unseeded team. And then the Harding Bisons go to Northwest Missouri State for the third time this decade in the postseason. Now, they got blown out the last two times. This time, Harding loses 7-6. It was heartbreaking tie because within the last minute, Harding scored the touchdown that brought it to a 7-6 score and then elected to go for two. Which you got to appreciate the gall and the gumption to go for the win on the road when you're at the goal line, but they got stuffed, and Harding ends their season as well. So I feel bad for those schools, but it's great that they both made the playoffs. UCA, by the way, is also a national seed, the 8th overall seed in the FCS playoffs. So, yes, D1 football at Arkansas is no good. D2 football at FCS football is just fine. Thank you very much.
Second up for me, Texas is not back.
Texas is back, folks.
As much as Joe Tess and Sam Ehlinger wish they were, the Longhorns are now 6-5 on the season after losing to Baylor this weekend in Waco. And you know what? Arkansas football, not good right now, but at least you can take pride in the fact that Texas is not having a good season after so many people thought they were going to make a turnaround this year. Down for me, people were making a massive deal out of Traylon Burks and Ed Orgeron talking after the game. Phil, I don't know if you've seen that. They had a long conversation, apparently, than more outside of the norm when it comes to just congratulating and stuff. People are just freaking out about this, and I think football season just needs to end, man, because people are always assuming the worst. People are going to assume Traylon Burks is going to transfer to LSU and play in that system. There's so many theories out there right now, so much conjecture. Football season just needs to end. They need to hire a coach so you could turn the page on this dismal, disastrous season that was 2019.
Oh, don't worry, everybody. It's not like Traylon could understand what Coach O's saying anyway. He just wants to get next. He just wants to get next to the guy who's going to end up winning as the national coach of the year. Third up, I like this idea of Luke Fickell as at least a candidate of to be the next Arkansas head football coach, and that's because he comes from a blue blood program in Ohio State, coached that defense to do great things, has been very successful, especially the last 2 years at Cincinnati, and I just like the idea of a defensive-minded coach maybe being the next guy at the University of Arkansas. So I don't know if Fickell will be the guy, but I do like the idea. I do think it's a real thing. I do think he is a real candidate as the next head coach at Arkansas. Third down, I'm only doing 2 shows this week, and it just feels weird.
That's not an up?
No, that's a down, Ty. It's down for me because I don't know what I'm going to do with myself on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, I'm going to fly to the Bahamas and then go in the ocean. That's what I'll do.
Aaron in Clarksville texted on the Cherokee Casino hotline, and I'll end it on this. His up, 1 more football game left. His down, 1 more football game left. So we'll end on that note in this on this Monday, Phil.
I've got an up. I got a women's basketball game during the football game on Friday, so I can be blissfully unaware of what is happening in the Battle Slime rivalry.
12-point dogs in that one, Phil. That's where they open.
All right, I got an up. We'll be back with you tomorrow, so have a great rest of your day. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.